Hey, my friends, I'm coming back to you today with part 2 of my demonstration from the Oil Painters of America in October. And I did finish the piece here in the studio. So what I've done was I was able to capture some of the demonstration done at the museum itself. They had shared the video with me. So I took parts out of that demonstration time while I was painting this big cloud here. And I took some parts out of that and merged them with the beginning parts that you might have seen at a previous video, the one of Oil Painters of American demonstration. So I am taking you a little bit further, and I think you might find it helpful watching some of this. I time-lapsed a little bit and then spoke through some of it, so it's just sort of a little buffet of getting through this painting. I did finish it here in the studio. There just was not enough time for me to finish it off at the 2.5-hour demonstration. I'm not a real fast painter, and so for me to get done what I got done, I was pretty happy with where I was. But I did want to finish it off because I felt like that, you know, it was coming along pretty nicely. I had to come home, and you'll see in the video, tweak the clouds a little bit more. I never really needed to do anything to my blue sky. That part had really kind of taken care of itself at the demo, but I did have to go back in and work my rain squalls over, which is not uncommon. Rain squalls just have a little bit of a life of their own. They're a little creature. And there are many times I end up doing rain squalls like 6 and 7 and 8 times. Wipe them off and do them over again. So I redid the rain squalls. I did more into the cloud. I did a whole lot more into the horizon than what was done at the demonstration. Then I had to finish the ground. When I got down into the ground, there was a few issues because I had some thick ridges of paint. You know, doing it at the demo, I was really pressed for time, and I just wanted to get color up there to set something down here for them to compare with to the cloud. So it took me a little bit of work to get back in, work on that, work on the trees, but I'm pretty happy with it. This is a 12 by 16. The whole demonstration was in oil, and I just took you through the little process.
All right, let's watch this video from the very beginning in the studio to the demo in Prescott and then back into the studio again. I have drawn on my composition with fine charcoal and sprayed a fixative over it. My wash is a mixture of a little bit of white, cat orange, transparent red oxide, and I'm using a touch of what I call my air color, just to tone it. Now I'm jumping in, and this is what I call wiping away and sculpting my drawing. I like to get a feel of where the brightest lights are, so I enjoy this process. For me, it's real creative, and I get a pathway of where I'm going. I'm using a paper towel, and it's dipped in Gamsol, just wiping away those specific areas that I want the white panel. Cleaning it up just a little bit more. Then I jump in there, and with a very dark green, typically I'll use a sap green with a little bit of transparent red oxide, possibly a touch of viridian here and there. Just block in my trees, a little bit of road map, get some weight to my scene. And now we head back to the demonstration at the OPA weekend. A quick shot of my palette pre-mixed colors that I did previously to doing the demo, as well as a marker value sketch to give me a bit of a pathway. Here is the image that I'll be working from.
Get it up here how it is. So it's not bad. It's not too blue and it's not too red. So, you know, always test that mixture. And there goes all that white. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm covering the whole cloud in this. If you want the mountain to really look off in the distance, you keep that line a little bit more quiet. So now at this point, I jump up and I come back in and I start wiping away and sculpting my drawing. So I dip into Gamsol and I start looking at where the lights are. I don't want to be super bright up here because I do not want to take your eye out of the picture plane. I want to keep you down here into where I want you. I might start right here in this area first. And I want to go ahead and start laying some thick paint up here. Now it's like, boom, it's really thick. So this right here is just white and ultramarine blue. It just needs refinement now. The heavy part of the cloud is over here, so I grouped my grouping heavier over here tree-wise. See how that balances? Really want this edge soft. You know, and there's even some areas where the cloud sort of comes down here and there. And again, you guys know refinement would take longer than this, right? I'm gonna take just a little bit of my air color for the sake of getting some of it down here. I already know this water is gonna be reflecting some of the sky. So I'm gonna go ahead and just really loosely get some blue down there. Already color harmony, right? Just, I mean, that's one thing water does for you. It's an automatic. Maybe that's just some small groupings of something organic back there. I take my dark green. I didn't even make a black. Sometimes I'll make a black, which is, I'm going to use it. Transparent red oxide is not on my palette, so I'm going to stay with the dark green just because of the time. But transparent red oxide and ultramarine blue make a really beautiful dark black, and a lot of times I'll use it along my edges here, but I can do it with the green. But I just like that mixture, and we'll now back to the studio. The weekend is over, and I want to just tweak a few things in the foreground. I did work up here on the sky. There wasn't time for me to spend on the little detail, the edges, the spider web of little breakaway pieces of the cloud. So I spent some time doing that in the studio. A lot of that thick paint, that heavy thick paint, it came on during the demo. So I'm just working the outer edges. I did refine and rework the rain squall. The foreground, and trees took quite a bit of time to bring them up. Like I said earlier, I did not get much time to work on them. And I just kept going back up and adding what I felt the cloud needed. Softening where it needed to be softened. Add some more grays, floating out into the blue.
I love that thick paint. I leave that thick, juicy paint on my work. That's a character of oil paints that I happen to love. And the white and yellow ochre in my sky, my air color, my pinks, and into all my beautiful soft grays. Because I mixed more than enough paint at the demo, I had all this paint left over, which is a key thing when you're working on a piece. Make sure that you mix enough. It made it way easier for me to work back into this. And the foreground, this was it when I brought it home. Less refined, not quite as finished. I had to get in there and do quite a bit of work.
So I hope you find this helpful, my friend. It gets you encouraged, gives you some ideas about clouds. And hey, if you like what you saw in this demo, you may want to jump into my online course. I do have a very detailed step-by-step online course of how to paint cumulus clouds. So I'll leave a link to the cloud course in the description. Go check it out and see what you might think. If you liked what you saw in this video, you would like my course. It just goes into a lot of detail. I spent a lot of time helping you find your way through making beautiful clouds. All right, my friend, thanks for watching as usual. Remember, stay encouraged. Get to the easel.
A very special thank you to the Phippen Museum, Oil Painters of America, and to you, my friend, for watching.